everyone. Today I will tell you about the film Io Capitano. Enjoy watching. Before watching, please don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. I'm trying to develop this channel, and your support is the only thing I have. The film begins in Dakar, the capital of Senegal. A simple guy, Seydou, wakes up in a cramped hut where he lives with his mother and a bunch of sisters, after which he goes to his friend Musa. Together, under the pretext of playing football, they go to work on a construction site. The teenagers hide the money they earn in a cache in the sand. And in the evening, when it gets dark, the whole community gathers for traditional dances to the drums. While the boys are drumming, the women are dancing. In the evening after the event, Seydou confesses to his mother that he wants to go to Europe to earn money. However, his mother is categorically against it since the road there is too dangerous. The young man has to say that this is an unsuccessful joke, so as not to upset his mother. In the morning, she accuses Musa of advising her son on the train, but the boys say together that they did not plan anything like that. On the way to school, they discuss their plan. For 6 months, the teenagers worked secretly to earn money for the trip. After school, the boys continue to work, and during the break, they watch videos on their smartphone. Then returning home, Seydou replaces his mother at the market, simultaneously writing down the lyrics of a future song in a notebook with a friend. Then they perform a new composition in front of their friends on the street, accompanying themselves with their palms. Later, the friends look for Cisco at the market, a guy who can help them move to Europe. He dissuades them from traveling, explaining that it is too dangerous for them there. Cisco drives the boys away, but after consulting, they still do not give up on their dream. They go to a shaman, who tells them to go to the cemetery, ask permission from their ancestors, and return to him in 3 days. The teenagers obediently go to the cemetery, where they pray among the graves. It is clear from the prayer that they are going to run away secretly, without telling their families. 3 days later, the shaman allows them to leave. In the evening, Seydou watches his sisters play riddles, realizing that he will miss them. But at night, he packs his things to run away. One of the younger sisters wakes up and asks to take her with him, but the young man convinces her to stay with her mother. Soon, the bus takes the friends away from their home. On the way, they write down ideas for songs in a notebook and look out the windows at the passing landscapes. At one of the stops, Musa finds a man who makes passports for $100 by photographing clients against a wall with a smartphone camera. The guys try to bargain, but nothing comes of it. Having received fake documents with fictitious names, they continue their journey. At the border between Mali and Niger, the bus stops for inspection. Having figured out their deception, the border guard demands another $50 to let the guys go further. Arriving in Agadez, they run into a new guide. For $1,200 per person, he offers to take them first to Libya and Tripoli, and from there by sea to Italy. As soon as the minibus is full, the smugglers set off. They are brought to some yard, where they are unloaded for a while under the pretext of filling up the car. There, the friends wait until evening with the rest of the illegal immigrants. One of them tells the young people that they need to hide the money. If the rebels stop them in the desert, they will take everything at gunpoint. To prevent this from happening, it is better to hide the cash in the anus. They will disdain to look there. In the morning, Musa will be Seydou to share the good news. In the evening, they leave. Having bought hats at the market, the friends hide the remaining money in their asses. When it gets dark, those who want to are loaded into pickup trucks to be transported across the Sahara Desert. The journey across it is long and boring. Nothing happens except for shaking in the dust. To break up the journey, the driver drives over bumps. One of the travelers falls out of the back of the truck from the shaking, but the driver doesn't even think about stopping to pick up the straggler. The pickup truck continues moving through the sunset and the dunes, straight to a lonely palm tree in the sand where the guide is waiting. Further, the illegals have to walk, despite all the discontent right under the scorching sun. Along the way, they come across the sand-covered corpses of previous tourists who did not have enough strength to overcome the entire route. Seydou hears cries for help. One woman has become exhausted and has fallen behind the group, but no one except him has come to her aid. Even Musa calls his friend to continue the journey. Crying over the body of the unconscious woman, the guy understands that he must leave her to certain death if he does not want to remain in the desert. The group continues on their way behind the guide, stretching out in a long chain. But at the last moment, Seydou runs back for the abandoned woman to help her. True, she takes off into the air and flies after him. All this is just a fantasy for the guy, tormented by a sense of guilt. Thus begins the second night of the hike. On the third morning, the illegals see a light, the source of which turns out to be a Libyan border guard car. Armed men, threatening with weapons, take all the money and valuables they find from the pedestrians, beating up the dissatisfied. Those who do not have money are given dirty water to cause diarrhea and wash out the stash hidden in the anus. After looking at the piles of shit, the border guards release those who had nothing. They find nothing on Seydu, but Musa, who hid the cash, is taken to prison. Having lost his friend, the guy continues on his way with the rest of his comrades in misfortune. They get to the agreed place, where a truck is waiting, into which the smugglers stuff all the people. The transport arrives in the city of Safa, where they are divided into groups according to nationality. There, a special translator talks to them, who tells them that they are being held captive by the Libyan mafia. To save themselves, they need to call their relatives and get $800. Those who do not want to cooperate, the bandits torture, filming what is happening on their phones. This way, the relatives turn out to be more accommodating. If the captives persist, they are killed. Seydu and the other captives who do not give out the phone numbers of their relatives are hung upside down. Then they are locked in a cell. The young man has a vision of a shaman, to whom he tells that he misses his mother. Then he sees a messenger from higher powers. The shaman sends him to deliver a message to the boy's family. Seydu asks permission to go with him and sees an angel with straw wings flying to his home, whispering to his sleeping mother that her son is okay. The boy calls for his mother, but these are only screams in a dream. He wakes up in terrible captivity among the Libyan mafia and other people. In the morning, the guards enter the cell to recruit carpenters and builders. They are sold as cheap labor. Seydu and a man named Martin are bought by a businessman and taken to a mansion in the middle of nowhere, where they are to build a wall. Considering that they are fed and not tortured here, the boy and his partner got off easy. They are busy building a wall, and in the evenings they talk about life. Seydu admits that his relatives are unaware of his departure, but he does not lose hope of meeting Musa one day. Since the new boss is pleased with their work, the builders receive a new order to make a fountain like the one in the photo. If they succeed, they will be taken to Tripoli and released. Inspired by the prospects that have opened up, the builders begin construction. When they are finished, the boss personally arrives to make sure that his fountain has turned out well. The foreman who bought them starts the water, and the wife nods approvingly, pleased with the result. The foreman keeps his word, and Martin and Seydu arrive in Tripoli. There, the young man looks for his friend Musa among the other illegals. He is sent to the Senegalese community, where he could have joined. Martin says goodbye to him, getting ready to go his own way. The man invites the young man to go with him, but he is not ready yet. He needs to find a comrade. Having agreed to meet in Italy, the partners part, hugging each other. Seydu goes to the Senegalese commune, but no one there has heard of Musa. He is advised to check other communities where he could have stayed, and the inspired young man rushes off to search. He moves from one group of Senegalese to another, not losing hope of finding a friend. Having never found him, Seydu gets a job as a construction worker in order to feed himself. He lives with his compatriots in the commune. One day, colleagues say that a new guy has arrived in one of the teams, perhaps the one he is looking for. The teenager rushes off to search and finds Musa, who, due to the stress he has experienced, does not immediately recognize him. It turns out that Musa is wounded, shot while escaping from prison. He suggests going home, but now Seydu insists that they are one step away from their dream. He presses with logic, reminding them of how much desert they have to cross on the way back and that the wound needs to be treated now. A local worker examines the wound. The bullet went right through and did not hit the bone. Seydu goes to a barber who helps illegals get hold of the necessary goods. With the medications he received, Seydu takes care of his friend, injecting antibiotics and treating the wound. But even so, Musa needs to go to the hospital so as not to lose one leg or stretch out both. Seydu needs to figure out how to provide medical care for his friend. He turns to a smuggler to get to Europe, where people will take care of him. But there is not enough money to pay. Then the bandits offer a deal. He will take the helm of the boat, calling himself the captain. Since he is a minor, he will not be imprisoned for trespassing. Seydu, who knows nothing about navigation, happily agrees. Having reached the coast of Zuwara, the friends prepare to board. Dozens of people are waiting for transportation with them. In the morning, the smuggler shows Seydu the ship. The bandit gives the guy a short course in management, including how to navigate with a compass and how to overcome waves if they appear on the way. Just in case, they give him a satellite phone for emergency communication. While spending the night before going out to sea, Seydu examines the people for whose lives he will soon have to answer. In the morning, he returns to the smuggler to refuse the agreement, but he does not want to listen to anything. The young man has to take the helm and steer the ship through the night, regularly checking the compass needle so as not to lose his way. Peering into the night darkness in front of his nose, the teenager worries that the waves are getting higher. After some time, Seydu notices lights in the night. He is happy, believing that this is the Italian coast. However, the source of the illumination turns out to be an oil platform sticking out in the middle of the sea. During the day, Seidu is forced to stop the boat to help a passenger giving birth. He calls the rescue service by phone to give the coordinates, but help does not arrive immediately. The illegals wait until dark, but the Coast Guard never arrives. Seidu calls the rescue service again, but they can't help. They are in neutral waters. Suspecting that they were simply abandoned to die, Seidu decides to continue on his way. During the day, it turns out that someone has become ill in the engine room. Seidu goes down there, leaving the wheel to Musei. The passengers pull the unconscious ones out into the fresh air. There are several of them. The captain begins to wash the victims to bring them to their senses. The passengers quarrel over the water supply. There is not much left. Not knowing what to do in this situation, the young man tries to reconcile the passengers, but he is not very successful. Another day passes. The boat continues to cut through the Mediterranean. Seidu peers into the endless horizon until the first seagulls appear above the boat, signifying the proximity of the coast. Soon the Sicilian mountains rise up in the fog ahead, at the sight of which the passengers rejoice. Together with the seagulls, the illegal aircraft attracts the attention of a Coast Guard helicopter. It hovers above them to assess the scale of the upcoming humanitarian aid. Unable to hold back his tears, Seidu looks at it, realizing that his torment has finally come to an end. This is where the film ends.